Imagine buying a state-of-the-art smart home. You know, you've got the best automated lights, the smartest thermostat.
Right, the works.
Yeah, exactly. The most secure locks on the market.
Well,
But there is this massive catch. Every single one of them requires a totally incompatible app.
oh, that sounds like an absolute nightmare.
It is. To make them work together, you literally have to download a spreadsheet from your lights and email it to your thermostat.
Which completely defeats the entire purpose of automation. I mean, why even bother?
Exactly. And that massive headache is really where we are starting today's deep dive for you. Going through the stack of articles and research notes you sent over, it's fascinating to see how the agricultural machinery giant CLAAS tried to solve this exact problem for modern farmers.
It really is.
We're tracking their massive wager on a system called 365FarmNet, looking at how it evolved from a standalone software product into, well, the underlying digital platform for the whole farm.
Yeah, it's a wild evolution to track. Because back in the early 2010s, farmers were generating these massive amounts of data with their tractors and harvesters, but
Well, it was all trapped, right?
exactly, trapped in completely different brand ecosystems.
Yeah.
CLAS wanted 365FarmNet to be a true field-to-barn operating layer, like the single digital brain for the entire operation.
So instead of 15 chaotic apps, you get one central hub. But how did that actually change the day-to-day life of a farmer on the ground?
Well, think about the sheer amount of manual office work a farm requires. Before this, a farmer might spend hours manually typing field data into a computer just to prove environmental compliance to local regulators.
Oh, wow, that sounds tedious.
Incredibly. But with this platform, the software tracks the tractor's exact fertilizer distribution via satellite. Then it generates the required cross-compliant certificate with, like, a single click.
That is a massive time saver. Plus, I mean, if you are using satellite data to map exactly where the fertilizer goes, you aren't just saving time, you're saving money on chemicals
And reducing environmental runoff.
Yeah, right, because the application is perfectly targeted.
It's a huge step forward for resource efficiency. But the real friction, the really hard part, was getting rival machinery brands to actually let their data mingle.
Right.
In 2019, they hit a major milestone called DataConnect. For the first time, data from CLAAS, John Deere, and CNH Industrial could, seamlessly flow together in the cloud.
Wait, I'm stuck on something here. CLAAS, John Deere, CNH, I mean, these are fierce competitors.
They're very fierce.
So why on earth would they suddenly agree to let their proprietary data talk to each other in the same cloud? Like, who actually wins there?
The farmer wins. The brands realized they had to play along or risk alienating their customers because almost all farms run mixed fleets of, different colored tractors.
Ah, makes sense.
And the technological shift behind the scenes was the real key here. Instead of forcing farmers to plug physical, clunky third-party dongles into their tractor dashboards.
Dongle.
All right, just to translate the data, DataConnect used cloud-to-cloud API integration. The machines talk to their own brand servers, and those servers simply talk to each other.
Okay, so if an open brand neutral system is exactly what the farmers want, why did 365FarmNet struggle to survive commercially as a standalone business?
Because server space and data security are incredibly expensive.
Oh, right.
365FarmNet was operating on a freemium model. You are essentially bleeding money to host massive amounts of high-resolution satellite and machine data for free.
Which is not sustainable.
No, not at all. Add in the oligopolistic nature of AgTech, where a few massive corporate brands ultimately want to control the whole ecosystem, plus, natural farmer mistrust over who really owns their data.
Yeah, data sovereignty is a huge issue.
Exactly. The standalone business model just couldn't hold up.
It's almost like a company building a state-of-the-art public highway, realizing they can't afford to maintain it for free, and deciding instead to turn it into a private driveway that only connects to their own dealerships.
That is a really perfect way to visualize the pivot. This tension forced CLAAS to fundamentally change its strategy. They realized 365FarmNet had to become a capability builder for CLAAS itself.
So it's an internal thing now.
Yeah, the Berlin office transformed into a software competence center.
Meaning all that software brilliance is now being absorbed into the global CLAAS Connect ecosystem, which is slated to be fully integrated by 2026.
Yes, they are tying the platform directly to their dealer networks and paid licenses. It's the ultimate shift from selling a standalone product to building the foundational software platform for the entire company.
Though looking at the notes you provided, there is a very interesting geographic exception to this global rollout.
Oh, Switzerland.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Well, their localized version of the platform called Bartow will actually remain separate from CLAAS
Really? Why?
because Switzerland has highly unique local agricultural regulations. It is a great example of how software has to be deeply rooted in local realities and local compliance laws to actually succeed.
That makes total sense. So distilling this whole journey down, 365FarmNet successfully proved that whole farm software is incredibly valuable. It paved the way for a massive industry shift, transitioning from a single software product into the foundational platform driving CLAAS' global push toward automation.
Yeah, it basically built the necessary infrastructure for the future. And as these farm management platforms increasingly become the underlying foundation for autonomous AI-driven agriculture, it brings up a really crucial question.
Right. If we trade our 15 chaotic smart home apps for one perfectly integrated house built by a corporate giant, do we really own the house anymore? As corporate monopolies tighten their grip on the digital infrastructure of our food supply, will true data sovereignty for the independent farmer become a thing of the past? Something for you to mull over.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of our Digital Servitization Exchange podcast. We hope the insights sparked new ideas, challenged assumptions, and brought clarity to the evolving world of service and digital-driven business models. This podcast is grounded in extensive research across various fields, drawing on years of academic work, case studies, and cutting-edge publications. It also shaped by hands-on experience of our collaboration partners, whose real-world challenges and successes help us to translate theory into practice. If you enjoyed the episode, consider following the podcast and sharing it with colleagues who are navigating the civilization journey. Your support helps us continuing bridging high-quality research-based and practice-proven perspectives straight to your ears. Thank you for tuning in and see you in the next episode.